Hello everybody, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock. We're live with Cape Town's greatest and best rugby show ever in the history of broadcasting. Mr. H, welcome.
Good evening, JP. And I would like to say good evening to all the viewers out there.
Yes.
Especially all the ladies that watch the show, especially to see me. I believe there's quite a lot of them.
I believe that even the ladies are asking now for your autograph in it.
Yeah, that happens now.
Ja, en hoe sign je dit? Rafel uit. Paulie Delport, how are you, my man?
Well, thanks, Jess. How are you?
Good, man. You're looking fit and healthy and raring to go.
Just enjoying Mr. H. I heard, ladies, there's a calendar coming out.
A Mr. H calendar.
Mr. H calendar. 12 pictures from just October till December.
And Egan Seconds, my man, how you doing?
Good to be back, JP.
Good to be back, yeah. No, we were worried about you, back. The word back being obviously. We were concerned. We were not sure if you were, in good health last week or.
Yeah, I missed one show and I see Mr. H has got a fan page on Facebook. I don't know what's happening here.
I thought maybe you pulled the hamstring.
On my way, yeah.
On your way, yeah. Because people don't know this because you normally jog here.
That's right.
Yeah, 49 kilometers and then jog back home.
Yeah, that's just how I know. Yeah. Keep fit. Somebody is coming and I need to work on it a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Right. Okay, so we've got so much to catch up with. We've still got a couple of results that we have to do. We can take a look at some of the results in a second, and we're going to take a look at the winners in the logs this year. A lot of out-of-season competitions coming up. It was a Steve Twetty tournament. We'll touch base with them. Of course, Kailsriver Rugby Football Club had their annual awards trophy ceremony. We managed to pop in there. Daar dinge uitgerafel. And we'll also be taking a look at some of the other events in the Western Province Rugby during the course of the show. But now let's take a look at those last minute results that did come in. We'll start off with Super League A. SK Warmers going down to Vix 26-19, and in Super League B, Tygerberg beating Panel Villagers 49 points to 7. Mr. H, let's start with you. That was the win that Tygerberg needed. We were all sitting here. The final points didn't come in, but hulle het lank genoeg gesê hulle gaan die league wen en hulle het toe gedoen.
Yeah, and you know what is great about I believe that was one of the biggest crowds that turned up for a club game this season. And they played at Kylmore.
Right.
So it's great that, that a lot of people went out there just to see.
So apparently, you say a lot of spectators, just for that. But is it because the Tygerberg fans are traveling or the local fans are coming to watch the game? Because it seems like some of the fans do travel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to see good rugby, and they knew it was going to be a fairly good game. And there was some needle in the Tygerberg had to win the game, and it's all about, we always say it's about timing events. There was no other event on the night.
Yeah.
Rugby people who wanted to, see something like that, they were.
Give us a quick update on the amateur team beating.
They beat the Blue Bulls on last Saturday.
Yeah.
Who was the northern winners? We were the southern winners. And now on Friday they will play at Florida Park at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Against KwaZulu-Natal, who was the central and coastal winners.
Right. That's this Friday.
This Friday, 6 o'clock at Florida Park. And if they win that game, then they will be crowned the national amateur champions.
Paulie, what's it like for the Western Province team to play at a Florida Park, which is off Newlands, and play against a team like the Bulls?
Oh, Jeff, it's always special playing for provincial rugby. I think playing in a place like Florida Park that has a lot of history, and it's also nice, like actually the sense of community there. And the province of playing, people will come out to watch you. So I think anybody who's played rugby, it doesn't really matter where you're going to play, as long as there are people watching you and there's a vibe. You're going to enjoy the game. Mr.
H, Florida Park's one of those venues that always has a big crowd though.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a culture of rugby and supporting rugby. Yeah. Piet Juster will never allow anybody, even if we pay for the venue, to say that the people can come in free.
Yes.
He said because that teaches the wrong culture.
Yeah.
Pay to come in, next time when you come, you must pay again.
And the other nice thing that Peter seems to be instrumental with is the raising of funds goes to the sharing of the community with the other sporting codes that are
All of them. Clover Just,
Yeah.
cricket,
Yeah.
everybody.
Fancy pigeon.
Yeah.
They don't have fancy pigeon there.
I don't know.
There's a lot of events taking place at the moment, folks. One of the events is, of course, the Steve Tshwete tournament. Started last weekend. You saw the highlights then. It started last weekend. We managed to catch up with some of the guys over the weekend as they started off the tournament. Of course, it still finishes off this weekend coming. Let's take a look and see what the guys have to say at the Steve Tshwete tournament.
My name is Jongi Temba. I'm actually the chairperson of the organization that's holding this tournament. And this tournament is quite cool. It helps us to do transformation, show some talents to other people, so that our players, more especially in the black townships, to do transformation through rugby. As the late Steve Tshwete would like things to see our black brothers go and participate in the province and national team.
There's a phrase saying that a child in sport is a child of a court. That's what we're doing, that we're trying to mobilize these youngsters out of the streets to come on the field so that they must be away from drugs and crime.
The tournament itself is particularly special for the guys. They find that it enables them to come back and get together with all the other township teams, and that's something that they're all very keen to develop township rugby. So they want township rugby to prosper and to develop from this, and this is one of the ways that they try to achieve that.
And as we said last night at the opening of the tournament, that this is for development for black teams, so that the black teams, we can get more black players through to Western Province and to other unions. What's happening now currently is that too few black players are coming through the ranks to the Western Province and the other teams. So when they come to Western Province, then they either leave Western Province to go to another union, but now we try to get the black players through, mostly for Western Province and for the union.
Well, it certainly looks like there's a lot of action at Western Province Rugby in the meantime. It certainly doesn't look like it's been stopping. So we've got no reason to stop talking about rugby. Speaking about rugby, though, and discussions on the table, stay tuned because a little bit later we'll tell you who's in the Springbok squad to take on Australia this weekend. It was announced about half an hour ago, and we will give you that announcement towards the end of the show. And you'll be able to find out who's starting. Is it Smith? Is it Bismarck? Oh, it's all out there. And who's injured and who's not injured. Some sure very interesting results. Mr. H, the Referee Society back in action. They're meeting with the coaches.
Yes, on Wednesday night they will meet all the coaches of Super League A and B and Premier League A and B and Division 1 at the High Performance Centre. So all coaches are there. They're supposed to be there so they can give feedback on the performances of referees and how do they think the referees should improve, and and the referees will also tell them about certain things that happen on the
Is this
field.
for all of the coaches in Western Province in the amateur structure?
Yes.
First team, second team, third team?
Everybody.
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 How are you going to fit them in there? You've got about 1,000 coaches.
No, but it's only Super League A and B and Premier League A and B and Division 1.
Right.
The other divisions will come at another time.
Okay. Of course, that means Western Province Rugby have built a smokestack on top of the building there to send the smoke signals up to make sure that the communication goes from the union all the way down to the coaches, because quite often the coaches don't know what the officials have been told. So, Mr. Mr. H, are the coaches aware of this?
They've been sent a circular. All the clubs have been sent a circular. They hear it here now. So.
Okay. Another thing that will be happening in the next 2 weeks is the continuation of the business and social media seminars. We're hoping
That's 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time at Newlands, and of course, folks, you have been asked as a club to send somebody. Get somebody new and fresh in Facebook and Twitter. That's going to be your media representative on the side of the field. We had a fantastic turnout. What we had, about 65 clubs?
Yeah, about 100 delegates.
100 delegates with about 65 clubs turning up for the last one, and we're going to continue through this thread. So that's going to happen in about 2 weeks' time, folks. And don't forget, at Newlands, the continuation of the business and social media training, which is, of course, so important to give exposure for your club, which is then ultimately going to help you get sponsors for your club, together with the backing and the support of Cape Town TV. Egan, how important is it for the coaches to meet the referees?
I think it's vital, especially leading up to certain games. And a lot of times the referees come under scrutiny, of course. We see it in the World Cup as well. But it's about doing research on who's going to be your ref on a weekend and then knowing how he interprets certain rules. That's a professional era.
Yeah.
You can't keep blaming the refs for certain decisions. You've got to do your homework as well.
Unless you want to blame Bryce Lawrence.
That's right. Well, he's gone now, so...
Well, is he not reffing us on...
yes, he is. You don't want to ref that, so like an end of career like type of game that you...
Is it this sort of swan song?
Something like that, yeah. But it's important. It's really vital that the referees and the coaches, when they chat before a game, but that's never enough.
Yeah.
You need to know who you're dealing with through a whole season, and especially there's new refs coming through. And I think that it's important for any team to attend something like that, so that their homework is done, so that not all the blame goes to the referees.
Paul, from a sevens point of view, if we look at this, the 15-man game, the scrum seems to be one of the most difficult places to manage, and that's where Bryce Lawrence has had problems in the past. He had enormous problems in the Sharks Crusaders game, and recently had some problems in the World Cup. Is it that difficult for the referee in the sevens game to manage the scrum, because there's only 6 people?
Yeah, I know, Jabs. It's much easier, and then if anybody's playing against South Africa, it's quite easy because Frankie Vaughan's scrumming the hell out of anybody. So they're always going backwards. But no, it is, Jabs. I mean, I've never played in the forward, so I don't really know the ins and outs of it. But it really does look like the RB need to do something about the scrum situation, because it really just gets a bit irritating for everybody watching the game.
Yeah. It's either getting irritating, or maybe it's just being made a bigger thing of in the media than it actually is. Because I mean, really, is it such a problem? So what if the referee resets the scrum once or twice?
Yeah.
Does it bother you that much?
It does, yeah.
Did it bother you before people started making a fuss about it?
Well, not when I was on the field, because I was pretty tired most of the time, so I didn't mind.
You see,
on the couch with my feet up, I just want to see some backs get the ball and run. I don't really want to see 16 fat guys.
Absolutely. Let's take a look now at the league winners, and we can start wrapping up the winners in the league and how proud they can be. Right, so here's the situation. The situation is, of course, Super League A is won there by UCT. We'll go back to that slide in a second. UCT winning Super League A. Super League B won by Tygerberg. Congratulations. Premier League A, it's Goodwood who walks away there. Unbeaten until the very last game. Beaten there by Scottsdene. Who would have guessed that? But a nice win for Scottsdene. Congratulations, guys. In Premier League B, it's UWC who took the title there. Division 1, Eerste Rivier. Division 2, Rocklands. Division 3, Violets. Division 4, Masipumulele. And in the Paarl region, it is a Lower Paarl. So well done to those teams. Right. So, Mr. H, this is obviously something that people are very proud of, to win these leagues.
That's what the blood was running for the whole season.
Yeah.
And the broken teeth and the broken ribs and all that. So now, when you can proudly lift the cup, have it at home, it's a great feeling.
Of course, you've got to sign for that cup, though, when you get it, eh?
Yeah, well, it comes back most of the time with 1 year orphan, And you see some stuff inside which wasn't there when you handed it out.
People probably won't believe this, but I think I might be one of the only people in the world that has actually had the World Cup trophy at home. You wouldn't have thought that, eh? So if you ever have a chance to get the World Cup trophy, right, turn it upside down and you'll see there's a little thing. JP was here. No, but I was fortunate enough because in 2007 we did the World Cup roadshow with the trophy. And early morning, we had to be the next morning at certain radio stations, and it was great fun. And there I had the trophy at home. Who would have thought, the World Cup trophy? So no photographs. The neighbours asked for a few photographs. I didn't know. Anyway, let's move to the relegations now. This is the other side of the coin, of course. In Super League A, Mr. H, Helderberg, relegation for them.
Yes.
Yeah, and in Super League B, Young People's. Premier League A, it's Stellenbosch Coronations, and Premier League B, it's Silverleaf. Mr. H, how devastating is it for a club to be relegated?
It depends on, it is devastating. You know, it takes a lot to bring the club back again. What will have to happen is that administrators in that club will have to go sit down now and plan and be very, very up front, and know what they're going to do. Because if they don't, they will go down again next year.
Egan, would you stop playing rugby if Hamilton's doesn't win the league?
Not really. A lot of times when you look at some of the guys getting relegated, and if you look at what is happening in the club, sometimes it's actually a good thing to just restructure themselves. There's other clubs that maybe missed out on a promotion that would think maybe it wasn't our time, maybe we needed another year before we can be competitive, because they don't want to be competitive for 1 year and then be relegated again. So sometimes if you look at it from the positive side, maybe it's a good thing so that they just can rebuild again and from the bottom.
But I think the question that I'm really asking is that if you're going to get relegated, are you then going to throw in your boots and retire? You're not playing rugby just for the sake of winning the league.
Exactly.
You're not playing rugby just for this. So it doesn't matter where you play. I mean, not everyone's going to win the league, and so the fact is that you play rugby also for the fun of it, for the social occasion, for the community upliftment, and it's critical that the players stay, because that again is something that the sponsors look at, is they check your player retention.
But let's be honest, the crazy season is now, where the players are going to be shifting around, especially in the Super League. There's guys leaving clubs, there's guys that's buying new players. It's that time of the year. There's the talks amongst each other when you go out with the boys, who you're signing with, how much you're signing for. It's going to happen every year. And a lot of these smaller clubs, to put it that way, is going to lose a lot of their players, because the players also want to play in the Super League.
But I've got to ask the question, if I go money versus passion, and you say to me, listen, I'm going to give you 1,000 rand to play on a day. I'm going to give you 1,000 rand per day to play. Just use it as an example, all right? But I don't necessarily feel I'm going to enjoy myself at the club. Versus the other side, where I'm going to play for a club where I'm not going to get the 1,000 rand, but I'm going to play with my mates. I'm going to have a jol, we're going to have a braai, and then we're going to have stuff happening during the week, and we're going to hang out. Personally, unless I desperately need that money, I'll say, listen, keep 1,000 rand, because my mates and everybody is playing. Paulie, the vibe is probably 90% of the game.
Jabs, you're preaching to the converter. That's why I play sevens. If you look at what the sevens guys earn compared to what the 15 guys earn, enough said. And that's it. Again, it goes down to the type of people that you're playing with, and also just the whole vibe. You said it, Jabs. I mean, sevens guys, you get to travel around the world, you get to experience different things, and also it's a smaller team. You get to form more personal relationships with the guys. So you've now actually made friends.
But clearly that is happening because you've got coaches and managers in place who foster that, who encourage that spirit amongst the team. So I mean, Mr. H, then if you don't have the money, it comes back to the question of, what is the administrators, the coaches, the managers, the physios, what are they all doing to make sure that your environment is an enjoyable environment?
Absolutely. If you have a great team spirit and you have great support structures in the club, money won't play a role. But if a guy gets hurt and nobody goes to visit him at home, or nobody worries about when he comes back to the club, surely those guys, they just leave the club.
But then, I mean, in that case, is ek reg om te sê dat a coach of a manager of 'n administrator wat vir 'n speler of 'n span uitvloek en uitskel en onbeskof is met 'n speler, daar's geen plek vir hom nie.
Nee, want hy gaan ook nêrens kom eintlik nie.
Want as ek 'n speler is, ek wil nie met 'n miserable coach speel nie.
Ja, en
hy moet my kan aanmoedig.
Vloek help mos jy, leer jou niks nie.
Nee.
Baie van ons ken almal hy. Die coach moet jou iets niets leer.
En is ons wat kan vloek.
Ons kan vloek, ja.
Just like, ons kan vloek. Ek sien nou 'n paar mense eintlik aan die kante van die veld eintlik kan vloek laat die bissies bewe. Vloek dat die bissies bewe. Let's take a look now at the relegations in Division 1. Well, unfortunately, somebody did get relegated. In Division 1, Kylemore and Paarl Rangers go down. Mr. H, is that correct?
Yes, 2.
2 go down. Division 2, Whistling Wheels and Strand Pioneers go down. Division 3, Richmond Rangers and the Bishop Lavis, and Division 4, Cities Mitchells Plain United, while in the Paarl region, Allendale and Parel United do not get relegated. They stay in the Paarl region because there's no promotion and no relegation back in that region. All I can say to you guys, folks, is don't worry about relegation. As we've just said, it's not about the winning or the losing. It's about making sure you've got a team, all right, a team that's going to stick around. It's time for us to take a little ad break. When we come back, We'll take a look and see what's happening with some of our sponsors. We've got some fantastic sponsors that are still supporting us during the course of the show. We'll be back in a moment. Hello everybody, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV here, live on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. Don't forget those repeats on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m, again at 11 p.m. on a Thursday, and on a Saturday at 8 a.m. So you've got more than enough time to make sure that you catch the show in case you missed it. And in case you can't get it there and you want to tell some of your friends about it overseas, don't go to anywhere else other than the Western Province Club Rugby website, www.wpclubRugby.co.za. Are all embedded on the site. It's as easy as that. Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. We are looking for you on Facebook, Mr. H, and I'm hoping to get some pledges now. All right, so we're going to jump on the Facebook page. I'm hoping to see how many of you out there are going to support the following cause. And there you can see the web address on the screen right now, right over here. All right, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. There you go. All right, Mr. H, there is, and I want to get this party started now. On the 29th of November, because I'm looking for people to pledge. On the 29th of November, Western Province Rugby has got a kiddies party. 29th of November.
Yeah.
Right, it's a Christmas party for the kids.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
We would like to invite 200 kids from various homes around here. We'll put up, various games for them. We'll have toys and everything for them there. Last year we had one. We had about 100 kids there. It was fantastic.
Where did these kids come from?
Various homes, children's homes. We had a school for the deaf there. We had children with AIDS there. We had children that's just they're incapacitated, they can't walk, they can't.
So it's a handicapped children struggling, and so on. Okay, so it's an extremely good cause to support.
It was quite touching because, Mr. Wakefield, who was there, he actually left. He said he couldn't handle the emotional things that he saw there, and the players were very good. The Western Province players, they all assisted with the kids and dishing out.
Right, so we often see the senior players, the Currie Cup players, the Stormers players going to Red Cross Hospital or doing clinics and going to disadvantaged areas. But this is an opportunity for those of you that are watching the show. This is an opportunity for club rugby to support the kids. And I mean, we essentially do so much for club rugby that, and that's what it's about. It's about empowering and enlifting and supporting the community and those that are less fortunate. So this is the great opportunity. I believe one of the clubs has already made a pledge.
Yes, Solarians via John Brits has offered us 3,000 rand. Temperance via Patty Keane has offered us money. And Kales River via their sponsor is going to take us to a toy company that will give us toys. So there's a lot of things happening.
So Kales River are on board?
Yeah. Temperance
and Solarians.
And
Solarians has pledged 3,000 rand.
And they say they would like anybody else to sort of
match or better. Right, there's the challenge. There's the challenge. All the administrators out there, okay? I will mention your name on the show. I'll give you publicity for this money. All right, there's the pledge. See if you can equal or better the 3,000 rand. It's going to the kids supported by the Western Province Rugby Football Union. All right, we're bringing them to a kids party where they can meet the players, meet some of the amateur coaches as well. We're not only going to expose them to the senior rugby players, we're going to bring through some of the Western Province Rugby players, some of the coaches from the amateur structures.
Whoever wants to be there.
Whoever wants to be there. Guys, this is one of those opportunities where you can contribute. I've been involved with Toys with Nigel Pearce on the Good Hope FM many times. I've been involved with other organizations, keeping Cape Town warm. And all that happened was everybody just donated a little something. They came and they dropped off a toy, or they came and they dropped off a blanket. This is your opportunity in the rugby world to be part of this. I'm on Facebook right now, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. There you see it on your screen again. Please pledge. All right, we've got a 3,000 rand pledge in right now from Solarians. We've got another toy pledge coming in from Kales River, and I think we've had Temperance via their Honorary President Pat Kuhn has also pledged. All right, so we're on Facebook right now. I see Grant Arbeltain posted there some of the pictures from before, but we want your pledges now. Anything that you've got, if it's toys that you think are spare, and please, come on guys, how many times do we go out there to the kiddies toy shop and buy a toy and then it comes home and just sits in your cupboard and the kids don't need it anymore? I've said this on radio show many times. All you need to do is say to your kid, and this is a fantastic opportunity where you can teach your child to share and be helpful. You go to your child and you say, listen, this teddy bear over here, why don't we donate this teddy bear? And of course your child's going to wonder, why am I giving my teddy bear away? But it's that perfect opportunity for you to teach your child to share with those that are less fortunate. We're on Facebook. Please pledge. Our first pledge is in from Solarians for 3,000 Rand. If you can equal or better or anything else that you can do, we really would appreciate that. Yes, so Mr. H, that is on the 29th of November. Still a few functions then. So it is very exciting. It seems to me that there's almost more activity at the end of the year than there is during the year.
Yes.
Ian, have you guys had end of year function?
Yes, we did our end of season dinner and ceremony, of course, handing over of trophies.
Yeah.
But like you said, JP, during the season, everybody is just so busy with training and getting into the matches that now that they have free time, all your time is booked to go to functions and all these kind of things. It's just how it works.
It is, absolutely. I tell you, if you were in the rugby catering business, you could probably make yourself an absolute killing. Right, it's time for us to take a look and say thank you to some of our sponsors. Now, what was great at Kales River was that Morne Swartboy's mom, Karen Swartboy, won herself previously in one of the Evox competitions a bucket of Mega Grow. I'm going to show you guys a little bit later what happened at Kales River. But Karen Swartboy, a very proud mom, took her bucket of Mega Grow that she won here on the show and she gave it to her son Morne. And Morne used the bucket and this year was voted the most promising player of the year. And he said that bucket of Mega Grow came in massively handy. It is off-season time. Now is the time that you need to start looking at your nutrition, because heaven forbid you're a player that goes into the next season and you're underweight. Because by the time you get to the end of the season, you are truly underweight. Egan, that's one of the important things, like off-season training.
Absolutely. I mean, that is actually what's going to carry you through your season. It's the work you put in the off-season.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the guys take a break. Sometimes the break is a bit extended because it's getting into the festive season, but it's vitally important. I mean, I think I need to come talk to you as well, because you start feeling it a little bit. It's been about 4 weeks now since the season is done for us.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys are playing either in sevens tournaments, and there's the international tournaments going on. And there's preparations for everything. Even the touch rugby these days is a big competition.
Yeah.
So
any exercise you do breaks down muscle fiber.
Definitely.
And if you break down muscle fiber, the only way to make it get back on is to eat protein.
Yeah.
So simple as that. And to eat protein, you have to keep the tank full, folks. 3 meals a day is not good enough. I know it's difficult for those in the club rugby structures. Some of us don't even get breakfast. I know that things are difficult out there, all right? If you want to win yourself a bucket of Mega Grow, which will help you through the off-season, all you need to do is SMS the word EVOX to 32010. EVOX is, of course, the official supplier to Western Province Rugby and, most importantly, to Western Province Club Rugby. Last week's winner, congratulations, Lance Newman. Lance wins for himself a bucket of Mega Grow, all right? If you want to buy these products, you can get them at Discam, Clicks, Pick and Pay, Sportsman's Warehouse, and, of course, at MCAM, upstairs at Bounce. All right, so that's all you need to do is send the word EVOX to 32010 and put yourself in the mix to win yourself this massive 5 kilogram bucket. All right. Don't forget, as a club rugby player, you are entitled to sponsorship rates. All you need to do is go on the club rugby website, wpclubrugby.co.za, look under sponsorship, type in the name, and get in touch with the guys at EVOX, because you, as a club rugby player, you are sponsored, all right, and you get special reduced rates. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Mr. H, it's time for us to move to Union on the Spot, but of course Union on the Spot now is not so much. I mean, I've been asking you what it is that the Union has done for the clubs lately. In the past, of course, people couldn't ask you that question, but now they can. And as we've been doing now for 23 episodes, I've been putting you under pressure to come with answers, which I think has been fantastic, because every week you have had answers for us. But you have already answered a couple of questions. So in terms of Union on the spot, I think it is time for us to take a look at one of these awards presentation ceremonies. Folks, we were out at Kales River on Friday night. I was planning on going for 10 minutes. And toe begin die musiek. Let's take a look at this. At the Kales River Rugby Football Club annual awards ceremony, Donnie Abrams walking away with the Extraordinary Service Award. More prizes on offer. Congratulations then in order to Gar Stefanis, who walks away with the President's Award. President's Trophy going to Gerard Nicholas. And the fans absolutely loving the night. But of course it was time for the Best Player of the Year. That prize going to none other than Ashraf Smith. And on hand, Mr. Herman Abrams, the Deputy CEO of Western Province Rugby Football Union, handing over the prizes. And then it was time for the Sportsman of the Year Award. Congratulations to Evan Swartboy. Fans were loving the occasion. We managed to catch up with some of the trophy winners during the course of the evening.
I get the President's Trophy here, and the forward player with the most tries.
Tonight, what did you win?
What is this Player of the Year? I just played my best, played consistent, and just tried to stay positive. Thank you, my man. Thank you. I enjoy your shows, eh?
What position?
Sorry, a hooker. I was a hooker.
That hooker?
Yeah, for Kensington.
And you?
I'm a loose forward flank number 8, so yeah.
Ja, ek kon van die vijf weg van die voor me, hè?
Like me so, yeah. Net the best, and it's I'm part of the community, that's why.
Do the guys look after you?
Definitely, most important, they respect me, that's important. That's the camaraderie, keeping people out of the streets, building a community, that's important to me.
Well, we saw the potential there and we decided to back them financially.
And have you got a nice relationship with the players?
Very nice.
I'm very proud. Die mees belovende jong speler.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very proud night for us. It's always good to showcase our achievements and to award our players and our administrators for their hard work. I think our players did very well, and our executive members, they also did very well off the field.
It was a great evening for everybody at the Kales River Rugby Football Club, and then things began to raffle out.
Come on, y'all.
Daar hang hulle hom op. Mr. H. I see you of course were, the VIP there, but at one stage I saw your leg was moving and you were tempted to jump on the floor there.
Yeah, it was, I always judge the next morning how was the party the night before. When I wake up hanging in the cupboard and my suit is lying next to my wife, I know, I had a great time. So they had a fantastic party.
But I think what was apparent to me was that it wasn't overly formal, and it turned into something that was entertaining as well. Iggy, how formal was your function?
No, it starts off formal, let me put it like that.
Yeah.
And then the ties gets loosened up a little bit, then the blazer goes, and then, like you say, then raffle ons maar almal uit. It's a celebration, you gotta understand. But I have to ask though, Paulie, we never invited to those kind of functions, and I saw there at the end how it possibly could have ended that night.
Yeah.
Because the two of you are operating on your own.
The cha-cha slide there. I was very impressed. But some fantastic awards going out there.
The other thing about that function was the positiveness. The club ended second last. They had champagne bottles with a label printed. Champions, Super League B 2012.
That's awesome.
And they said that they want to open next year. They had their sponsors there that's ready to support them next year. So there's a very positive vibe there, and you can see guys like Tony and Ralph, they're doing a great job there. So that's what we want to see in the club rugby, where there's excitement.
Yeah.
End of the season, we just about came last, but we're so eager for what is coming now in the new season.
Exactly what we were
when I said, in my speech, I said, guys, tonight is the last drink that you take. I heard a big groan. They said, "Waar praat jy nou, meneer?" I said, because tomorrow you must start training for next year.
Yes.
You must start preparing. Don't waste a day. I don't think that went off very well. They said, tell us that next week, not tonight.
But they certainly seem committed. They've got players there that have been busy at it for a while. Young guys coming through. Evan Swartboy playing some good rugby there. Ashraf Smith winning, I think, Player of the Year. And then also some players stepping out and saying that's I've 13 years of playing for Kales River, and saying, right, it's now time for me to take a break and maybe pass on some of that experience.
I know those guys.
They'll be back next year.
They will start playing again. If they see things are not, they will be back in there. They will carry the can.
Dis wat ek eintlik vir hom gesê het op die aand. Hy sê nee, knie is nou weg. Skouer is weg en sulke dinge. Yeah, right. Next year we'll be back, Egan, do the guys hang around? Do they come back?
I think about 2 weeks ago, I mentioned JB van Ster and John Dempers. These are guys that, as far as I know, when I was playing for Tigerberg for that 6 years, retired every year. He was retiring every single year. The guy's still running on the field, still keeping fit. It's good to see, but those guys are stepping down, saying there's enough youngsters coming through the system now, opens the doors for that. And it's awesome to see that. Obviously,
Peter Jooster's got something on him we don't know about. It's time for us to take a look now at another one of our sponsors supporting us keenly during the year. Colour Tone Paints, White Line Fever. The White Line Sports Line field marker of choice. That is where you want to go. If you want to win yourself a Colour Tone hamper, all you need to do is SMS the word Colour Tone to 32010. You could win yourself a White Line paint marker hamper for your club. All right. Last week's winner was Colour Tone Paints' Caledonian Roses. Congratulations, Caledonian Roses. You win yourself a White Line Fever Colour Tone Paints hamper to the value of, well, that remains to be seen. So folks, you want to win that? SMS Colour Tone to 32010. Congratulations then again to Caledonian Roses. Colour Tone Paints, White Line markers around the side of the field. It's time for us to take an ad break. We'll be back in a sec. But before we do that, of course, we have to remind you that we are going to still announce the Rugby World Cup squad. That is coming up in a second or so. But we will be back with that in a minute. Welcome back to Cab Rugby TV, folks. Of course, many of you might have taken part in the Western Province I Love Western Province Club Rugby competition brought to you by Vodacom. That was a competition that ran during the course of the season. Many of you were able to SMS in and you were able to MMS in. The top club scorers there, of course, Scottsdene, who won 2 bus rewards each, 10 return coach trips. Hamlet's Rugby Club, they won 1 bus reward. Rocklands Football Club, 2 kit bag rewards. Whistling Wheels won for themselves 1 kit bag reward. And Vintmill United also winning for themselves a 50 branded kit bag. So congratulations to the guys there. So the top points earners then for the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign: Rocklands, Young People's, Scottsdene, Hamlets, Vintmill United. So well done to those clubs that entered in that competition. So very impressive, and good to see that everybody participated in the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign. Of course, Vodacom did ask us to mention the fact that they wanted to congratulate all the clubs who earned the correct amount of points and got what they deserved. Young Peoples, although they have enough points, have not yet made a decision which report they are going to choose, or which reward they're going to choose. This week, of course, concludes the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign, so the SMS scenario is finished. In total, more than 5,000 photographs were uploaded onto the website, 900 MMS messages sent in, and nearly 5,000 SMS messages were sent in. And with thousands of fans participating and showing their support for the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign, 88% of the clubs in the Western Province participating in some capacity or other. And Vodacom, of course, want to thank the clubs for participating and thank the Western Province Rugby Football Union for playing such an integral role in that campaign. So some of the clubs managed to get some great benefits out of that. So guys, well done. Of course, a lot of fun was had there. Many of those photographs we actually featured here on the Cape Rugby TV show. We were hoping to have Lynn Benjamin, the marketing manager of Vodacom, on the show this evening. She was unfortunately unable to make it, but all our best to the guys at Vodacom, and once again thank you for supporting Club Rugby and the Western Province Rugby Football Union, and we look forward to your support for next year. Incidentally, guys, Egan, Paulie, you guys might not have been made aware of this just yet, but our live broadcast last week in the Western Cape, the NNK Hands and Hearts things, for the fans out there who are listening very carefully now, we had more viewers watching our club rugby game than some Curry Cup matches being played on other channels in the first hour of our show. So
that's awesome.
I think that's something to be pretty proud of, huh?
I think it was Paulie's sunglasses that did it for you.
JP, I think it was you, eh? Or I think all the ladies were hoping Mr. H was going to be on.
Hey,
I think that's it. They were all tuned in to Mr. H and he disappointed them. Imagine the viewership if Mr. H was there. Could you imagine?
You see, now I've got to be careful when I take you guys out publicly. I certainly have to be a little bit worried. Yeah. Of course, a massive thank you to the other sponsors who supported us during the course of the show. Leisure Hotels, Mesa Computers. Mesa were fantastic, and Tata, of course, integrally involved with the show and doing the man of the match during the season. That was a great new situation. Mr. H, have you ever had this kind of thing before, where players are winning R1,000 for man of the match during rugby season?
No, it's the first time. And I had a meeting today with the big guns of SA Rugby, or those that are still left in the country, about club rugby, and they were all very, very complimentary about the show. They're all watching it on a Wednesday. And
the SA Rugby guys are watching the show?
Yes, and they think that it's a fantastic innovation for club rugby.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. So it's a very good thing that I'm not wearing my Sassel Springbok jersey today. Okay. Be happy to wear an Absa Springbok jersey, though. Speaking about the Springboks, it's time for us to take a look at the quarterfinals now. It's World Cup time. It's very exciting. Everybody's talking about the World Cup. And let me take a look now at the quarterfinal matchups there. There you see the World Cup. Very exciting. Ireland up against Wales. England is up against France. South Africa take on Australia. And New Zealand are against Argentina. Those are your four matches. Let's have a chat with the panel. Egan, is that close to how you saw it?
Yeah, it always was spelling out that the one section will be the Southern Hemisphere teams and the other section will be the Northern Hemisphere. So with all the injuries that's been spoken about, it mostly comes from our section.
I mean, we pretty much see who we thought would come through. The one possible could have been Scotland. They could have squeezed in, Paulie.
Yeah, they could have. Shame. Must have been heartbreaking for them, mate. Two games in a row, to go down in the last 5 minutes.
That's right, and it's the first time that Ireland ever in any World Cup tops their group.
Yeah.
So they are really looking good, and I mean they're going up against Wales, which I think is going to be a massive clash there. Both those teams expecting to go through to a semi-final, of course, but that's a difficult one to call. I wouldn't want to be in that position at the moment.
Well, you mentioned earlier on that, of course, the Irish team fielding exactly the same team.
Exactly the same team.
How important is consistency?
In a World Cup, I mean, there's only 6 or 7 games. You need that consistency going through.
Yeah.
All the injuries that we look at in New Zealand, in our camp, in Australia's camp, a lot of talks has come from maybe the prolonged Tri-Nations and the Super 15. But at the end of the day, you got to adapt. If the World Cup is won by a team, they're not going to look back on who was injured before that. That's why you need depth in your squad. You need to be number 1 in the world or a World Cup winner. and overcome all of those obstacles.
Let's take a look at that slide again, folks. So you can see the quarterfinal matchup there, and if you look carefully now, you will see at the top of that slide, Ireland is up against Wales, right? These are the quarterfinals. Ireland's up against Wales, England is against France. The winner of those two matches there will play against each other. At the bottom half, you'll see it's South Africa up against Australia, and New Zealand is up against Argentina. The winner of those two matches are going to be playing against each other. Quick time checks there, 7 o'clock, and on Saturday it's Ireland and Wales. At 9:30, right after that match, it's England up against France. Sunday sees South Africa take on Australia, and also then it is New Zealand against Argentina. Let's go back to the panel then. This is definitely going to end up Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere. Mr. H, let me ask you. I mean, we saw South Africa playing in the Tri-Nations, and then the other teams playing in the Six Nations. This is like it's quite an interesting dilemma here.
Yeah, my one question that I just I've read a lot of articles, and I must ask myself: is there life in New Zealand after Dan Carter?
Yes, I was just about to ask you.
No, I don't know. It's a massive blow.
Yeah. Well,
he's a fantastic player.
Colin Slade is stepping in. Aaron Cudrin has been flown in to replace Dan Carter as well. But people were asking me this question during the course of the week. Is it a bigger blow to lose Frans Steyn for South Africa than it is to lose Dan Carter for New Zealand? Paulie?
Not a chance. You can't even equate the two. You know, for I think just the amount of pressure that the New Zealand guys are under, and to lose Dan Carter, who without a shadow of a doubt is the best fly-off in the world, the best fly-off we've seen for the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And for them to lose him at such an important stage of the tournament.
Not to mention the fact that almost every single person that travelled to the World Cup went with the hope and dream of watching Dan Carter play.
Very true.
So not only a devastating blow for New Zealand. You see, I mean, you can't compare these two. Surely the loss of Dan Carter's, it's Frans Steyn. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to take nothing away from Frans Steyn, he's a fantastic rugby player, and
Sure.
he's done tremendously well to slot in at inside centre. I think he's made all of the difference in the couple of tight games that the Springboks actually won. Yeah, but again, James, you know.
Are you going the right decision to fly Zane Kirshner over? There are a few other options.
It's just for backup, yeah. But another point on with the Dan Carter thing also, I think they're more worried because of they don't have the same kind of caliber players slotting in to take his position. Where South Africa, I mean, we got so much depth that even though Steyn is out, there's a guy that can do the same or even better job that's coming in. Zane Kirshner is just there for backup, but now you look at the guy.
Yeah, there's no magic play with Frans Steyn. There's no X factor.
Exactly.
He's just big, he's strong, and kicking 65-metre penalty.
Yes.
We can do that. A lot of other players can do that as well. Okay, but whereas Dan Carter, he's
That's
like
a
a
different
ghost.
story.
You know, I mean, the last time we saw someone like was like a Stephen Larkham or something. You know, but yes, interesting scenarios there. So what an absolute blow for New Zealand. People, one thing that was mentioned to me the other day, well, at least they can go and watch Sonny Bill Williams. All right, but maybe not. So let's take a look now at the Springbok team. The Springbok team was announced about an hour ago, and we don't have a slide for you on it, but I will read it out to you. So Pat Lambie is at fullback. This was the first question many people asked. They asked the question, who will play at fullback? Would it be Pat Lambie, would it be Kirshner, or would it be Gewa Plon? So Pat Lambie is at fullback, JP Peterson and is at wing, Jacques Fourie at centre, Jean de Villiers at centre. So that centre pairing is back in the mix. Brian Abana's on the other wing, so JP Peterson and Brian Abana on both sides. Morné Steyn, Fourie du Preez and Pierre Spies. If we just look at those 8 players there so far, Egan, your thoughts?
I would say, I know JP had till today to pass a fitness test. My opinion is, if a guy's not 100% till so late in the week, I mean, why do you take other guys with? If you're going to choose your strongest side, choose the guys that's 100% at the time. I know that's about experience as well, but you don't want to have a guy that's going to give 80% compared to a guy that will give you 100% in this quarterfinal.
Yeah.
So the question around me is just JP. Even Brian Abana, who till today was still not sure if they were going to play. That's just my worry at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So now let's take a look at your front seven. I should stopped on Pierre Spies, but Pierre Spies, of course, there for mobility. Skalkberger, Heinrich Rousseau, Victor Matfield, Donnie Rousseau, Jannie du Plessis, and who's at hooker? John Smith, Guthrie Steenkamp next to him. This was the other question, Paulie. John Smith or Bismarck du Plessis, who do you start with? My opinion, to get the ball rolling here, is you bring Smith on to start the team off composed, to keep them steady on the field. Look, it's going to be wet, it's going to be cold, it's going to be miserable. There's not going to be a lot of movement needed right now. They need to be a little bit steady. But my opinion is bring Smith on to keep the team composed, and then you bring Bismarck on to close it off. Or is it the other way around?
Jeffs, I don't know. You cannot not have Bismarck du Plessis on the field. That's the way I see it. If you just look at what Bismarck as a player offers to what John Smith as a player offers,
okay,
it's that
all right.
simple.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that there's flip side to it, is that you start off with Bismarck, get the points, get the steadiness, get consistency, and then bring John Smith off to keep the last 5 or 10 minutes settled and make no mistakes.
If he doesn't get a yellow card in the same process, of course.
Right.
Trying to intercept the ball.
Yeah, that's of course if he doesn't. But talking about yellow cards and players that are apt to get yellow cards, you would have heard about my lock pairing there. So the lock pairing is Victor Matfield and Donnie Rousseau. Who's missing?
Bakkies Botha.
Bakkies Botha.
Which I think is right, because he declared himself fit. I think the doctor needs to declare you fit anyway for a World Cup game.
I've got sad news for you and everybody else. Bakkies is injured again.
It's only because he didn't make the starting lineup, that's why.
Bakkies, if you remember, before his hamstring injury, Bakkies had an Achilles strain.
That's right.
All right. He got better from the hamstring, and yesterday in practice, he went up in a line out and there wasn't enough support, and he came down and he pulled his Achilles again. So Bakkies Botha must be absolutely devastated, Mustache.
Who's in his place?
Well, it's Donnie Rousseau and Victor Matfield. Willem Alberts is there.
Alberts will.
They did also, of course, say that Francois Lowe can move to lock as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have played with Flo.
Yeah, but just talking about Bakkies Botha, I take my hat off now for Johan Smith now making a decision like he did before the World Cup, because he didn't want to let the team down.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like Bakkies Botha is letting us down because he was never 100%.
Yeah.
If he was hurting himself yesterday in a training session, he was never there. So why force yourself and play, like I said, 50 to 80% if there's someone else who can really do a good job in that position?
Let's take a look at the bench. On the bench then, it is Bismarck du Plessis, CJ van der Linde, Willem Alberts, Francois Lowe, Francois Hoogaard, Butch James, and Gio Aplon. At which stage of the game do you bring Gio Aplon in? You know, if it's a wet game, do you bring him on? I know everybody wants me to everyone say yes.
Definitely.
You bring him on?
The guy is the X factor.
He's the X factor.
You must bring. I would have started with him.
Do you not keep your strongest defenders there?
He can defend.
He can defend?
He can defend.
Are we all happy with that?
Yeah, he can.
All right, there you have it, folks. All unanimous, objecting. We have to have Gio Aplon on, okay? Nobody ever said Gio Aplon. Why is he not there? In actual fact, he should be the only player on the park. But we have got a couple of X factors in that team. Francois Hoogaard, X factor. Paul, you've played with Francois.
What a player!
What a player!
What a player! Yeah? And he's shown by the performances that he's put in the World Cup. He is someone who's gonna set the field alight when he gets a chance. So again, I'm sure the Springbok management have a plan for him. And I'm just waiting for. I might miss the first 60 until he comes on. Then I'll watch.
Mr. H, the under-19 team is travelling up to Johannesburg this weekend.
Yes.
Playing?
Lions, similarly the under-21.
Right.
And the senior team.
And the senior team is, of course, playing as well, the Western Province Currie Cup team playing against the Lions.
Great escape for them last Saturday.
Yes, well done against the Sharks in the dying minutes. Divenage, the hero of the team.
Yep. And now I hope that they can do that again this Saturday. I believe that they are. All three teams have sort of placed themselves under pressure now to win the remaining games.
Right, folks, that's pretty much a wrap of the show. Our final request, then, and we're going to keep asking you this, is we need those pledges from you on Facebook. That's the easiest place to do it. If you want to pledge a toy, okay, all you need to do is just donate a toy. If you want to donate a blanket, donate a blanket. The challenge is out from Solarians at 3,000 Rand. Anybody, 50 Rand, 10 Rand, 5 Rand, whatever you want to pledge, please, on Facebook, just tell us what you can do. It doesn't matter what you can do. I personally will throw in 1,000 Rand, and I challenge any other radio presenters, TV presenters, or superstars out there to do 1,000 Rand. That's a wrap from us. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. I'm watching you on Facebook. You've been talking to me all season. Pledge now. See you guys next week, same time, same place. From me, Egan, Paul, and Herman Abrams. Bye-bye.